welcome to Mind Escape with AZ, where I'll be talking with dope ass people about some real ass shit. Today we'll be talking with Corey, aka PURV, a punk rock recording artist from the Bay Area. As always, we're just gonna jump right into it. Enjoy.
Responsibility. Like being obligated to somebody else, you know what I mean? Like if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. If it's like 4 a.m. and I haven't slept, but I want to go to 7-Eleven, or if it's 6 a.m. and it's like I'm gonna go get a bottle because you know what I mean? I'm turned up or I'm craving this, I'm gonna go get it. And it's like, oh, I spent money, I'm gonna get it back. I'm not worried about the things that make people be like, oh, I have to.
You mean stability and
I guess so, yeah. I mean,
consistency.
realistically, it's just like the only thing that's been consistent for me is just art. You know what I mean? Being able to create, and in the most fucked up situations, I made some of the best shit I ever made. So I'm not saying I seek it out, but I'm saying that I'm comfortable with nothing, and it makes it to where I end up in a lot of situations that it's just like, oh, that's what's happening. Fuck it, let's go. You know what I mean? Or I got to figure out how to get home. Fuck it. Not to say that's the glorious thing, but it's just like, it's just a part of my life so far.
Right.
Could be mental illness, it could be whatever you want to call it, but
right.
I had a lot of great experiences that nobody else has had because it's like, I got work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I respect
Why not
them.
the
I respect them
weekends?
for that because it's
Or your days off.
The weekends are arbitrary. Like when I was in LA, some of the illest shit I experienced was on a Tuesday. Or like a fucking, Thursday night. It's just like that. The people who have.
That's why I said or days off.
I mean,
like a job doesn't necessarily have to get in the way of you.
It's just hard for me to let somebody tell me what to do and just do it. Like, because people, when they feel like they got you under their thumb, they'll pull the strings.
And that's such a valid fact.
I need you to stay here for 3 extra hours.
That's a valid fact.
It's like, yo, I have plans.
If you think about the way labor in this country has been divided before, you have your workers and you have your overseers and you have your benefactors. So even to this day, with like the manager and the co-manager or the assistant manager, and then you have the cashier, same concept, different context, like different way of packaging it and having us like consume it.
Yeah.
So I definitely hear you on that, but I think we've gotten to the point in capitalism where there's so many resources and just so much quote unquote capital out there that you can really like either find a job that makes you happy or a job that
I would love to,
like includes all your passions, or find a job that's convenient enough for you to make that extra income to fund what you really want to do with your life or with your time. And it doesn't have to be like years and years and years of you like going to the same place doing the same shit. Like if you really plan it and save and like make it work, it could be a short amount of time of you doing what you don't want to do, so you can start doing what you do want to do on a consistent, healthy, like non-problematic way.
I feel it, trust me. Like, open the box and see the dynamics to where it's like your people are supposed to be working for hourly wages. You're getting underpaid for your time, and you're supposed to stay on this treadmill for the rest of your life. Like, you're too tired after. When people show up to your job, they know that you're there to be drained. They're going to trigger you. They're going to talk about chicken. They're going to talk about watermelon. They're going to talk about chocolate, talk about lazy, this and that. Every job I had, there's been those moments. And it's like, I'm just a nigga that's like, oh, this is what's happening, I'm out. Because I know I'm supposed to be there, but y'all got me here, undervaluing my time. My intellect is not appreciated.
But you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, start somewhere, but if they're holding me there...
No one can hold you anywhere. Let me not say that. That's not fair.
Straight up. How many people have worked jobs for X amount of years, been like, I need a promotion, and they're like, yeah, we'll get around to you. And
right.
They hire, they promote Dave.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, the system is classes and races, and it's just like, it is what it is. As a person who's experienced racism at the most visceral level to the point of like police brutality, it's like, it's hard for me to forget that when I go to work at Olive Garden or Cheesecake Factory, and this Indian nigga is like, to my trainer, like, oh, you're the one that's cracking the whip on him? You know what I mean? Like, that type of shit is triggering, and I could be ignorant as possible, but once you know, and it's hard to be like, oh yeah, I'm excited to get up and go to work the next day, so another person can project onto me and microaggress and make me feel like less than.
But why not?
Because then you get like psychosis, and then you just self medicate and destroy yourself outside of work.
But don't you also get psychosis from not having a consistent income and kind of like struggling your way, finagling your way into some money and getting stuck in the other side of that? Because that other side is real too.
But it's more autonomous. Like
It's more autonomous. I get it.
I feel good knowing that I've been hustling for the past 2 years, haven't had a job, and I've still been able to pull up, still been able to go where I want to go.
Right.
I might not have a consistent living situation, but comforts kill creativity in my experience. So it's good for me.
So what is creativity?
Creativity
for
is
you?
Transmutation. It's taking the dark sides of life, the pain and the struggle, and making it beautiful. That's why comedy is so powerful, because comedians talk about the fucked up shit.
Well, that's kind of how I
Musicians talk
feel about
pain and angst.
like dismantling from within, or like being a part of these workforces, but not assimilating to them, you know, like not turning off, or like speaking in a different tongue, or like changing who you are to like fit that position, but coming in there as you are, but showing them that you're just as smart, if not smarter, you're just as capable, if not more capable, and that they need you. They need
That's the thing,
that difference that you possess.
People fear black masculinity. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in plenty of places where it's like, if I showed that part of myself, they'll push me out, because it's like, yo, we can't have you in here like not being a stereotype. We need a token. We don't need Malcolm X. We need Uncle Tom. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, serve these people, but don't talk to them. And it's like, when they talk to me, I'm supposed to just be like, oh, I don't speak it. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to just clean up the table and get out. But it's like, when I can't do it. My mom raised me different. I'm literate. You know what I mean? I'm like a person that's like, I like to communicate and I like to learn. So it's like, my boss is continuously telling me I'm doing the wrong thing by being social and like making people laugh, and I'm still getting my job done. They feel like they have to nitpick at me to keep me in this box of like,
That's real.
yo, you step and fetch. You better make sure you play your role or your job is on the line. I can't exist in a place to where I feel like somebody else controls my destiny. So I would rather struggle. Even though life is beautiful, I would rather struggle by most people's standards in order to experience what's beyond the fence, what's on the other side of the fence, you know what I mean? And that allows me to communicate in a way that's like bridging the gap versus just being like, oh, I can only talk about what it's like to be a worker. I can't talk about what it's like to be a boss. Even, you know what I mean? As soon as I stepped outside of that frame, I was at a house with millionaires playing basketball with Slum Village. I was on tour with Farside. I was this and that. Even though I didn't have necessarily hella money in my pocket, I got paid to do that. And it was based on the thing that was within me that made me feel myself beyond what other people told me I was worth. So,
That's real.
you know, like I've had too many
How
experiences.
did you learn to like hear that voice of who you really are? Because you know what I'm saying? We say like, yeah, I found myself. Like, how did you know that was the self? Like, what did it feel like? What did it sound like? What did it look like?
I mean, first and foremost, having a mom that like was outspoken, because you know how feminine energy is taught to be subservient. So my family is more matriarchal. You know how the black family is. It's like remove the father. So I seen women stepping out of their frames and being like, no, I'm speaking up. And then I seen men working and trying to like appease the Eurocentric system, and what that got them was just nothing. You know what I mean? Check to check, pissed off, living off women, trying to like chase some fucking like notion of what masculinity is. And I seen that. I seen my uncle, he had 2 jobs, blah, blah, blah. Nigga smoked crack and did all this shit, abused his family because he was pissed off. He didn't have no outlet. And then I found art as an introverted person. Art is the first thing where it's like, I'm in a group of people and I'm talking and I'm rapping and they're listening. And they're like, yo, ooh, you know what I mean? When you put your thoughts together the right way. So that was the genesis, and then it just led to like further exploration, to where it's like, oh, when I get on stage and I'm in front of a bunch of people, and I synthesize my idea of what we're all experiencing in a creative way, and they respond, and they're vibing, and it's like medicine. People hitting me up like, yo, that's dope. That was it, you know what I mean? And then from there, it just, you fall in love with that feeling, and you just seek it out, because it's like, I see what they're doing. I don't want to do that. My family divorced because they was both trying to play some role. I don't want to do that. And the only thing left was what was immediately in my environment that was responding to me, which was when you put your thoughts together in a creative way, or you put your ideas down on paper on a beat, or you put a fucking painting together or something, people love it. So I was like, I just want to do this.
So how is art the opposite of like a quote unquote broken home? You know, is it like just
Mm.
a distraction from it while you seek out a home or formulate a home that isn't broken? Or is art the home you make
Yeah,
out of the pieces?
I would say that art is definitely the home. Art is definitely, because it's like a broken home. It's like you're in a maze and you can't fathom the circumstances. It's like somebody created all these variables that destroys what you knew, and you can't reconcile it. But when you make art, it is a way to reconcile it. It is a way to not pacify, but it's a way to like get close. Cause it's like all of this shit is God, you know what I mean? We can only, this is a table because we call it a table, but realistically, it is something that is stable, that facilitates, it's a platform that you can like elevate something on and keep it, you know what I mean? People sit around it. There's so many different ways to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why other languages are dope. But it's a way to play with the language of life. It's a way to communicate with people in a soul level, because it's always a synthesis. It's like a stanza in music or poetry is like so many different factors come together to make that stanza. Colloquialisms, Americana if it's art in, United States, universal terms, all of these things. It's a way to like give people information in a digestible way, because we're so like cultured to like only accept spoon-fed information, like as it relates to the zeitgeist. It's hard to explain, but it's just like, it's a soul thing, you know what I mean? Like the Bible is art, the Quran is art. It's like, let me tell you this parable or this story of this person, like Anansi the spider, or like Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Jill came tumbling after. I kind of paraphrased it, but there's a metaphor in there, and there's a lesson to be learned, and it's subjective based on the person and what they're going through. So it's not me being like, this is the fucking black and white of it. It's me being like, here's the gray area. What do you think? And then it creates a conversation to where everybody feels like they can have an opinion on what reality is all about.